Hello YouTube fans, here again. I've got a bit of a stab in my face, hopefully it'll come off in a few days. But that's not why I'm speaking. I figure why not about ado. I talked about GoldenEye because I want to do a tribute to Tina Turner. We all know GoldenEye was sang by Tina Turner. And so I've inspired me, why not talk about Bass Boston? I remember saying it when I was talking about GoldenEye, so I figure without ado, let's go to the second outing of Pierce Brosnan. Why not? Why not? And after the 2 days of the success of GoldenEye, they decided to bring back Pierce Brosnan, obviously, for his second outing. That being Tomorrow Never Dies. I say it again. Tomorrow Never Dies. And I've got to admit, it's not a bad one, this. Would I say it's one of my favourites? No. Because again, it starts off, right? You've got the day opening. I love the opening like I did with GoldenEye. It's all modern in 3D, just like in GoldenEye, the famous drum barrel scene. So they'll go on. But then you've got the same thing, the JCB, the Soviet Union, and so on. But there's a bit, the action in this is a bit more of an improvement, I felt, than what it was in GoldenEye. Because this film is action, action, and action. And out of all the Bond films, I do admit this one I felt this had to be the fastest one. Because normally Bond movies do have a very long hour of time, running time I'm on about. This one, I felt its running time was pretty fast. I do know it was very successful when it came out, but it did actually also have mixed reviews. And sometimes I like it, sometimes I hate it, but I don't think it's a bad film. I I'd have to be an average rating, but I still think it's not a bad film neither. So I go on. So you've got again the Soviet Union and so on, and Bond going on a mission. That copies a little bit what was usually Never Say Never Again, where Bond's got a cigarette, he's pretending to smoke it, just like in that film. But Bond gets the better and knocks this person on the arse, and I just up the line where he says, bad for your health. He's got to land these bombs. He's on an aeroplane. He's got to dive down to choke him out, and he knocks him in the air. And I love the one liner in it. Backseat drivers. So I feel like he's stood in this one. He's coming out of his one liners a lot better than what he did in GoldenEye, and I think he's still doing a good performance. What can I say? I still think Pierce Brosnan, and the rest of Popper, is doing a good performance. So they think Bond's dead, but of course it's not the case. He fires off, he says the date line, where do you want me to send these rockets off? And then you've got the date song, the No One Ever Dies. I'm not doing the rest, I'll kill it. So in this one, I've got to admit, I think the villain really does kill the scenery. I really do think the villain in this is really true in the scenery, but it's basically what's interesting in all because this villain has got right hair, and I think in the opening of The More Never Dies, he presented it, and I think he's pretty good at presenting stuff, and he's a villain that works in the newspaper, and he mixes things, and he changes things, and he manipulates things, which is just like what sums up the fucking news, is what the news is. I doesn't going over the head there, but yeah, it really does sum the news as what it is. That's why I always say never believe what you read in a newspaper, and this film really does. There's a bit where these people are getting all shot up, it's pretty fine, and you got one villain called Stamp. Like most Bond movies, there's a lot of scenes that was cut and deleted out of the film. There's a scene where I remember right there, halfway through the film, one of the main villain bollocks one of the guys for sleeping on the job. But there's actually a scene people never knew, right? And we'll say it here and now. There's a scene where Stamp falls that person on the floor and he literally stamps him to death. Not making it up, he literally stamps this poor bastard to death. I trust the MPA and everything felt that would have been a bit too thingy, so decided to delete and cut the scene out. There's a bit where I wish it was in because it would have made Stamp, this character, more nasty, not your typical I've got big biceps, what I normally see in most Bond films, where Bond takes on a guy who's, big, he's 8 foot, or he's got big biceps. So I do actually like, what can I say, I do like that villain. There's another villain who threw tards and could kill people by throwing tards. Those scenes were deleted out as well, which was the same, because it made that villain more memorable than him just being there. But again, I do like the idea. It's to do with these rockets, to do with this ship. destroying. Again, it's the JCB, the Soviet Union, but I do actually like the idea of the newspaper manipulating, and this villain could use the news and the media as his words. There's a bit where Bond's in a nightclub, and it's sort of same here. This girl never got to be the Bond girl. I remember a very attractive woman, and I didn't mind that she was half pregnant when she was filming this as well, which you would never have known. And the funny thing is, she was famous for being in the TV show The New Adventures of Superman. And you might remember her in a Sylvester Stallone film, that being Tango and Cash. She's one that played Sylvester Stallone's sister. Very attractive lady. And I do have heard rumours, whether it's true, whether it's not. I'm not a fly on the wall. But I've heard rumours that Pierce Brosnan and her hated the sight of one another, and they could barely work with one another. They really hated one another. Whether that's true or not, it's a different debate. That's just a scene in the nightclub, and you got the idea she's the wife of the villain. There's a bit of a sex scene in it where you see her back and you almost see her bum. Very nice to look at, whether it's her on a body double, different story. But sad to say, she gets killed halfway through the film. I do like the way Bond outsmarts him. He does have dad sits in this. I do like the car. He moves it around with his like a mobile, and I'm thinking, that's pretty neat. I do admit. So it's good to see Bond getting his dad sits again, and it's good to see Leslie and Ryan again as two. So I do like that. I do like the fact it's fast paced. You do get the Chinese there. But the only issue with this is there's no snogging. You don't see him in bed with the girl like you normally see in Bond movies. But I can appreciate that. It makes it different than what you normally see with the days of Connery and Roger Moore. And in all fairness, did sometimes you see a bed scene with Connery's error? Not really. So it's with this Chinese dude. You get the idea she's a secret agent and so on, and they're going after the main villain. So, like I said, there's a lot of scenes that were cut and a lot of scenes that were deleted. But I do love the bit where he outsmarts the villain. He says it's time to teach the press what they want, and he rams his head into his electric chill. Again, because of rating, it's not going to be that traffic, it's not going to be that bloody. This one bit where Bond's fighting a die, and he falls in his machine, and you see a bit of blood, but not as much. I do love the line in it. It's like a cold-blooded line where Bond says, they print anything in the newspaper these days. So I thought that was like cold-blooded, but again, typical of Bond without his one-liners. But I love to see him when he gets the phone, he rams that thing, and he says, it's time to give the people what they want. Stamp has a fight with Bond, the thing slams on his leg, it burns his leg, the thing bowls up, and Bond gets out of dodge and gets the Bond down. This one does seem where they're the doctor's chasing them, and I always wonder, right? I always fucking wonder whether the movie The Gauntlet. I remember talking about Clint Eastwood the other day, and I was talking about the spaghetti westerns, as well as when I was reviewing the Dirty Harrys, and I did review The Gauntlet. I always wonder whether the producers saw The Gauntlet, because there's a scene where Bond and the Bonder it's hard to explain, but there's helicopters chasing them. It's all in Hong Kong. It's shooting at them. It's blowing up buildings and everything. Does seem the bike jumps over. It jumps on the other side of the building. I mean, it dud practical fucking stunt. How I miss them golden errors. And he outsmarts the villain, and the air doctor gets blown up. And I was wondering whether they saw The Gauntlet, because it just kind of remind me of The Gauntlet. That bit is both good scenes. But like I say, the Bond gets I also love the bit where they're underwater and they get this thing and it shoots the Bond in Pierce Brosnan as Bond out of the water. I thought that was quite a good scene. But yeah, I think it was very fast paced. Wasn't as long as most of the other Bond movies. I like the fact you see him in a nightclub. It made it different than seeing him in a casino. But then it was bringing it more into the 90s. What can I say about it? I'll have to give it a 2-star rating because it is kind of average. It's not as spectacular as some of the earlier Bonds, whether it be the days of Roger Moore or Connery, and even the unestimated License to Kill. I wouldn't say that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad one either. Into them, be smart, be safe, and do some more movies, more movie reviews on the way.